Yes, Ishika.
Yes.
So let's revise uh, this unit one. As you said last session, do you remember?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So let's revise and then maybe we will end today unit number one and we will start unit number two, that is trade policy. So this is about
Okay, sir.
trade theory. Now we are revising trade theory. Yes. Can you read this PPT? Is it visible? Can you read? Yes. Can you read PPT?
No, sir.
What is the title?
Yes.
Hello. Can you read PPT?
Sir, no.
No, sir.
Not able to see PPT?
Not visible, sir.
Now,
Now it's visible.
what is the title?
International trade theories.
Yes. So international trade theories. Let's revise. Economists have focused on scale of economies. Scale of economies. So basically, economists, they focus on scale of economies. Not only scale of economies, but productivity and the advantage of resources. So whatever theories we are studying and we are revising, that is theory which is developed by Adam Smith, then theory by Ricardo, and theory by Texture and Olin. So these all theories, basically they goes for, let me highlight this point. We go for so the first key word that is scale of economy. This is number one. Then number two, productivity. And number three, advantages of resources. So these three keywords which are highly focused on is all economics. Am I audible?
Sir, your voice is getting
ऐकू
break.
येते का? Now am I audible?
Yes, yes.
So how many keywords are there in the slide which I have mentioned? How many keywords?
3.
Three. And these three are number one, scale of economies. Second one is productivity. And third one is advantages of resources. So whenever you write answer for this theory, please do remember these three keywords. Second factor, why do companies export and import? And we have learned. If I ask you, why companies go for export? Why countries motivating? Can you answer? Why government motivates for exporting?
To earn foreign exchange and to expand.
That is one reason to earn foreign exchange. And that is why government is, there is also answer. So that is foreign reserve. Yes, that is to gain foreign reserve. And then why import? Why import? How do we benefit because of import then? As you said, in export, you gain foreign exchange. But in case of import, we have to lose foreign exchange. Then still, why import is done by company? Yes, please. Anyone? Why company go for import? Yes. Why companies are going for import? Am I reaching you?
Yes.
So please understand why companies are going for import. Sometimes import is not just a material. Let me tell you, import can be technology also. Every time, not only material, but technology can be imported. बरोबर की नाही?
Yes, sir, for the development of the country.
Because sometimes what happens, you might be having your own material, but we lack uh, technology. So that technology we import. Technology we import. Say for example, in Pune city, metro project is going on. So who is importing this technology for completion of this metro project? Japan. So India is importing technology from Japan. So their engineers, their technology is being imported, and we are completing metro projects in our country, that is in our state, Maharashtra, in our city, Pune. Same in Mumbai also. For receiving project with the help of Japanese technology. So that we are importing, and importing without, suppose if you think that because of import, we have to pay in their currency. So we are losing our currency. But sometimes we can't help. Considering this example, because if you want to complete this dream project in Mumbai and Pune metro, we need to go for import. Otherwise, it cannot be completed. And if it is not completed, is it affordable? If you don't complete this project, is it affordable?
No.
Incomplete metro project in Pune. No, it is not affordable. So here, even we are not having intention to lose our currency, but anyhow we have to go for that, because then that. So that is why companies are going for import. So this way we can answer. There is a necessity. There is a need to go for import. And the next point, there is a question: how are these trade flow related to the characteristics of country? Now, this trade flow, what are these trade flow? Import and export. These are the trade flow. Which are the trade flow? Import and export. These are trade flow. And this trade flow has characteristics of a particular country. It's a feature, characteristics, or we can say feature of that country. Say for example, Japan is known for
Technology.
world-class technology. Japan country is known for world-class technology. So that characteristics Japan has. China and India, their characteristics is population, and we are attracting most of the IT companies in our country because of we have good amount of engineers, trained and skilled personnel. That is why we are able to attract IT companies in our country. So that characteristics we have. Japan having world-class technology, China and India is having population. That population, that is trained population and skilled population. So that characteristics we have. समझ लगा है? Characteristics. How these characteristics?
Yes.
Fine. Now let me take you to the next slide. The first theory which we discussed already, I'm just revising now. Adam Smith, International Trade by Adam Smith. Everyone, please go through this slide, and in case if you need doubt, you may ask me. But read this theory. So let me share with you the important point of this theory. This theory of Adam Smith based on absolute advantage. And what is the meaning of absolute advantage? Hello. Absolute advantage meaning is a country more quantity product or services. That is the meaning of absolute advantage. Company has more capability to produce highest amount of output. That is the simple meaning of absolute advantage. Is it clear to you what the meaning of absolute advantage? Is it clear to you? Absolute advantage. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that is why it is a logical and relevant one. Why it is relevant one? That country has the ability to produce greater quantity. And this is acceptable by each and every country. A country which has ability to produce, let them produce. They should not be stopped. And throughout the globe, ourselves and our neighboring country, China, both are having that ability to produce, and we are producing. So country is taking absolute advantage. Then it believes that free trade always leads to a better division of labor. Now, even in India, we also believe that free trade, which always leads to a better division of labor. Now, better division of labor. We have all kind of labors. All kind of labors means what are the kind of labor? In our
Skilled
country, what are
labor and unskilled laborers.
yes, and unskilled labor. Can we update them? Can we make them into skilled one? Can we make them into skilled one, unskilled labor?
Yes, by
We can.
giving training, yes.
So by providing training and infrastructure and facility, always we can convert unskilled labor into a skilled one. And there might be another population which is highly impossible to convert into skilled one. So that unskilled labor, that population is also equally important. Is also equally important because we also need people in an industry or a company where, say for example, in a manufacturing company, transportation facility is important. Transportation facility. So for transportation facility, skilled personnel, that is driver. But along with the driver, the other person, which is known as co-driver, or we can say cleaner, who helps driver while on the road. So cleaner, who is not given proper training, but even his services are also required. So with this example, when there are two persons required in a particular transportation facility, driver and cleaner, driver is a skilled labor who is given proper training and who completes the examination from RTO, and then he is being given permission on us that commercial vehicle to drive that commercial vehicle. So this is nothing but the example of division of labor. On the basis of work, we divide that labor. Let me continue the next. There is an argument that country should produce and export surplus of what they have. Whatever surplus is there, not necessary that it should be consumed within a country. It can be given to other country. Means it can be exported. Okay, fine. If there is a surplus, we can export. But to this Adam Smith theory, there is one thing which is not, which is unanswered. It means where there is no answer. And what is that? What will happen if a country had absolute advantage in all products? In every product, if we have. So this is just imagination. This is not possible actually. That in all products we can have absolute advantage. And we know what is absolute advantage. What do you mean by absolute advantage? Yes. What do you mean by absolute advantage? Can you share what is absolute advantage?
To produce greater quantity of goods.
Country has ability to produce greater quantity of goods. Now, with this assumption, if we produce all product in our country, then naturally we may not get, yes, so more benefits than competitor. So naturally we may not get customer to buy our product, because if we produce excess quantity, higher quantity. So there we need to understand demand across the globe. If there is no demand, then absolute advantage, though it is given by Adam Smith, but cannot be taken that way. Are you getting this point? Then we'll go to the next theory and we'll revise this. This is the international trade theory by Ricardo. Now Ricardo, who is focusing on comparative cost advantage. Comparative cost advantage. And what is comparative cost advantage? Produce more quantity with lower opportunity cost. That is the Ricardo. Ricardo says that to produce more quantity with lower opportunity cost. That is the meaning of comparative cost advantage. And he argued that cost led to trade between nations. And should specialize in the production of a commodity in which it has a comparative advantage in cost. And that country should have ability to produce one product related to another product. One product related to another product. Last time also I had given example. Again, would like to quote the same example. Suppose sugar manufacturing factory or unit, they produce sugar. So what is the relative another product of sugar? Relative product of sugar. What is that? Relative product with sugar. Some sugar factory, they go for production of the raw material for paper, not actually paper, but raw material for paper. Then another raw material for production of liquor. Liquor. These are the example of relative product. In case of sugar factory. Let's continue this Ricardo theory. Ricardo has some assumption. On this assumption, he has developed this theory. Assumption number one: two countries producing same two commodity. Continue the example of sugar factory. India as well as Pakistan, both countries, they produce sugar. We also produce, they also produce. But in these two countries, wages, which determines the price of sugar. Lower the wages, competitive will be the price of sugar. Higher the wages, then that sugar will be expensive. So that is the second assumption. Wages determine the price. And the third assumption, no change in the taste and preference of the people. Taste will be as it is, preference is as it is. And there is no change in technology. Technology remains same. One can criticize about this assumption. How technology can be same of two different countries? It is highly impossible. But since it is given in the assumption, so we are considering. But in actual practice, it is not possible. Then production is based on perfect competition. Production is based on perfect competition. So this was put up by Ricardo. Now, last and third theory. Known as HO model. H stand for Heckscher and O for volume. Heckscher and volume. Their points are conceptualized thinking of source of a country. And they focus on factor of production. I mean, last lecture, I have told what are the factor of production. Remember, there are 4 factor of production. Can you recollect what are those Factor of production.
Land,
Correct. Land, number one. Number two,
labor, entrepreneur, capital.
and capital. Entrepreneurship and capital. So these four factors of production are focused by this HO, Olina Nekla. Another point, countries with more capital will produce and export capital intensive goods. So HO is saying that a country who is having good amount of funds, large amount of funding capability, they will export more. Capital intensive good. So a country like France. So France is known for capital intensive goods. They produce and they export. Yes. And even there are some equipment which are required by defense. So that equipments are being purchased from France. So France is the capital intensive good, like say arm related goods, and then so when France produces this kind of goods and being supplied country like India and other countries also of the world. So this is the example, France is the example of capital intensive goods. Now there are some countries with more labor will produce and export labor intensive commodities. Labor intensive commodities where maximum labor is employed and things are produced. So can you guess which is that country where maximum labor is employed and the commodities are produced? Capital intensive country is France. Labor intensive commodity, which country?
China,
Correct,
China.
China. So China is known for labor intensive because they have huge population. Even India is also known for labor intensive commodity. So we are at number 2 and China is number 1. See these two countries, China and India, basically for labor intensive commodity. So this is our specialty as well. Now, like we studied assumption of Ricardo, on the same line we study the assumption put by Heckscher and Ogilvy. The first assumption, goods differ in how much they use of certain types of factor of production. So they bifurcate this HO, they bifurcate on the basis of factor of production. Suppose if you are good in, say, land, or if you are good in labor, so it is based on 2 by 2 by 2 model. Means 2 countries, 2 commodity, and 2 factor of production. On that basis, trade can be completed. But the HO is not considering transport cost. So transport cost is totally neglected. It is not being considered. Another assumption, full employment exists in both the countries. So there is no unemployment. Everyone is having employment. So full employment exists. Why this assumption he has quoted? In case of, say, unemployment, then naturally the capitalists, they what do they if there is a high population which is unemployed and there are capitalists, so what they do, what capitalist does? Capitalist, they exploit now. They start exploitation of people now. Or they don't exploit. Are you agree with me or not? Suppose a country,
Yes.
a country where few people are capitalists, means very rich, and in their country, most of the people are having, they are jobless. Unemployment is there, jobless. So naturally, this capitalists will exploit them. They will ask them to work for day and night, and that too with less payment. With less payment. So to avoid this situation, that is why HO is saying full employment exists in both the countries. So people are having good opportunities, number of opportunities to their skill. And next assumption, preference and technology level do not change. So there is no change in preference and technology. So this was all about trade theory. Now, can you go to the next point? Now, we will study trade barriers. Trade barriers. Can you see this PPT? Trade barrier. Is it visible?
Yes, sir, it is.
See, these trade barriers, these are nothing but the hurdles, or we can say the roadblock when we travel on a road. So there are some block which are purposely created by police just to control the traffic. Whenever there are checkposts, you might have observed in a checkpost. So there are some roadblocks, or even while passing through the toll. So there are also some blocks are there. So that the unit who are collecting toll from the commuters, they should not miss out. Or even police, they fix up some blocks on the road just for this scrutiny purpose, investigation, scrutiny, so that they can inspect the vehicle, whether are they carrying any objectionable goods or what. So, though it is a barrier, but this barrier is also good for country or not? Good for that particular area or not? It is good for that particular area, so that illegal things can be controlled. So any hurdle or roadblock that hampers the smooth flow of goods, services, and payments from one destination to another. That is basically trade barrier. Now, let's know the objectives of trade barriers. What are the objectives? Objective number one, to protect domestic industries from foreign goods. Our domestic companies, government want to give them protection.
Sir,
Otherwise, yes.
please share the previous slide now. Trade barrier.
Trade barrier. Okay. Trade barrier.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. So this is nothing but the hurdle or roadblock which are created and that hampers for the smooth flow of goods or services and payments from one destination to another destination. Like say, recently, last month only, now it is September, in August, all of a sudden, there was ample crop of onion, and then Government of India they impose 40% tax for export. Farmers who want to export onion outside country, they will have to pay 40%. Why government did that? Because they want to discourage exporting onion, because that should be available in our country, so that our people will have that commodity at a economical rate. So these barriers are created by government, imposing more tax. Sometimes government also decreases tax just to welcome outside commodity in our country, so that everyone will get that particular commodity. So not necessarily the trade barriers are always hurdles, but sometimes they becomes useful for countrymen also. Now, the second objective, to promote new industries and R&D activities by providing home market for domestic industry. To promote new industry and R&D activities. Now, in case of R&D activities, now what are the barriers in R&D activities? Now, at an international level, if you want to sell your innovation, whatever innovation a scientist, Indian scientist has, and that Indian scientist want to sell his innovation, then what he does, he goes for right and patent. Are you aware of this right and patent? Hello? Hello? Are you aware of this right and patent?
No, sir.
Right means what? To have right with that scientist, so that no one can copy. No one can copy. Because if they copy, then they will earn money. And a person who has invented, he will not earn. That is the rights. Say the author who writes book, somebody will copy that material and he will sell. So that is why in every book, if you read book, rights are protected. So there is a process, there is a procedure to protect your rights and patent. Even in innovation also, in the research, patents are filed. A person who has that patent, he will be given that benefit. So that is the beauty of patent and right. Followed this meaning, patent and right. Example is Chetan Bhagat. He has written several books, and the books are popular not only in India but outside India also. Another author, Harry Potter. So whatever story is written on the theme Harry Potter, these are the rights given to that author, so no one can copy. So Harry Potter, Chetan Bhagat, these are some world famous example where the rights are given. Followed example. Then next objective is to maintain favorable balance of payment. So BOP stand for balance of payment, to maintain favorable balance of payment. So for that purpose also trade barriers are needed. Trade barriers are needed. And then to counteract trade barriers imposed by other countries. What is the meaning of this? To counteract trade barriers imposed by other countries. To counteract trade barriers. Now, a country who is making trade barrier, now how to counteract? Counteract. That particular barrier which is imposed by other country. Now, say for example, when China is following absolute advantage, and they are producing more and more quantities and they are selling in India at a lower price, then this is the policy which is followed by China, absolute cost advantage. Now, as India, our country, how they counteract to this strategy of Chinese strategy? How do we counteract? Our government impose heavy tax when the China products are made available in India. That time government, our Indian government charges at a higher rate so that it becomes costlier as compared to the domestic product. This way we counteract. This is nothing but the example of counteract. Now, let's know more about trade barriers. Trade barriers. This is on the basis of origin, then on the basis of quantification, and then on the basis of purpose or revenue or protective. So this way barriers can be created. And as you know, barriers are nothing but the hurdles. We create on these are the basis. Now, let us understand the first on the basis of origin. On the basis of what? Trade barrier on the basis of what? Hello? On the basis of origin, export duty is a tax levied by the country of origin on a commodity designated for use in other countries. And then what about import duty? Import duty is a tax imposed on a commodity originating in another country by the country for which product is designated. So export duty and import duty. So these are the two tools. Every country, they use this tool. When export duty is a tax levied by the country of origin on a commodity designated for use in other country. When we export, India exports say Alfonso mango in other country, say for example. So, if country like India, if they want to demotivate, they don't want to motivate this export, then Indian government will charge heavy export duty so that it will become costlier those who are selling outside India, because government want to discourage. Vice versa, when Indian company is importing some material from outside country and government wants to control that activity, then naturally government increases import duty on the raw material. And when they increase import duty, then it resulting into the higher price of end product. And this higher price of end product is nothing but the trade barrier. It is the barrier created on the basis of origin. So these are the 2 points of basis of origin: export duty and import duty. Then another one is, what is the second one? First is on the basis of origin. What is second? On the basis of what?
Quantification.
Quantification. Now, what is this? On the basis of quantification. On the basis of quantification, there is specific duty. That is a fixed rate. We can say the flat sum collected on a physical unit of imported commodity. When we import commodity, then fixed rate is being charged by Indian government on that imported. That is known as specific duty. And the another tool is ad valorem. Ad valorem is what? Duty, it is imposed at a fixed percentage on the imported value. So there is a percent. In specific duty, there is particular amount. But in second example, there is a percentage, say 2%, 3% on the value. Suppose if you are importing 3 crore amount of material you are importing. So on that 3 crore, say 2.5%. So 2.5% on 3 crore, whatever amount, that is nothing but the ad valorem duty. Ad valorem. Please remember, ad valorem is what? It is the fixed percentage on the imported value. Ad valorem का अर्थ क्या है? Fixed percentage on imported value. Fixed percentage on imported value. That is quantification. Now, this third one. Now we are at the close of timing now. So we will not finish this third in a hurriedly. That is on the basis of purpose. This we will discuss in the next session. Is it okay? On the basis
Okay.
of so this we will not discuss right now. I will discuss in the next session.
Okay, fine, sir.
Okay, then. Thank you all.
Thank you,
Let's
sir.
bye.